You probably think humans domesticated cats. Your cat would like to have a word with you about that. Because the story of cats and dogs is not just humans found cute animals and brought them home, it's much stranger than that. A wolf slowly applied for a job. A cat showed up, looked around, and somehow became the landlord. Let's start with the dog. Imagine you are an ancient human. No house, no fridge, no police, no flashlight, no pizza delivery. Just you. A tiny fire, a sharp rock, and a planet full of animals that would absolutely eat you if you blinked at the wrong time. Every night was basically a horror movie, except the monster was real, hungry, and had excellent night vision. So humans lived in groups, stayed close to fire, and tried very hard not to become dinner. Then, somewhere near the camp, wolves started showing up, which sounds terrible, because if you are a prehistoric human and you see glowing eyes in the dark, your first thought is not, "Oh, future puppy." Your first thought is probably, "Great, the forest has teeth now." But not every wolf behaved the same way. Some stayed far away from humans, nervous and aggressive. Others were a little calmer. They came closer to the camp, not close enough to cuddle, but close enough to smell leftovers. And humans were messy eaters. Bones, scraps, bits of meat, garbage near the fire. To a wolf, this was not trash. This was a buffet with terrible customer service. Over time, the calmer wolves kept hanging around human camps, and people began noticing something important. These animals were scary, yes, but also useful. When something dangerous came near, wolves noticed first. When another predator approached, they reacted. During hunts, they already knew how to track, chase, and read prey. At some point, humans probably looked at those wolves and thought, okay, you are terrifying, but maybe you are terrifying on our side. That is where the ancient job interview begins. Human resources, somewhere in the Ice Age. Position, camp security assistant. Candidate, suspicious wolf with sharp teeth. Requirements, bark at strangers, help find food, stay warm in winter, accept payment in bones. And most importantly, do not eat the children. The wolf looked at the list and said, I can do most of that. Somehow that was enough. Of course, no one grabbed a random wolf and said, congratulations, you are a dog now. Domestication took many generations. Wolves that were calmer around humans had a better chance of getting food near camps. Humans who tolerated useful wolves got protection, hunting help, and early warning alarms. Little by little, the friendlier wolves survived, reproduced, and became even friendlier. Their behavior changed, their bodies changed, their faces changed, their relationship with humans changed. Eventually, the wolf became something new. The dog. The first animal that looked at humans and thought, you are weird, weak, slow, and terrible at smelling things. But I like your team. Dogs became partners. They helped humans hunt, guarded camps, warned about danger, pulled, carried, tracked, protected, followed, listened, and eventually learned the most powerful survival skill of all, looking sad next to food. A wolf could chase a deer, but a dog could look at your sandwich like its entire family had been eaten by that sandwich. That is advanced evolution. So the dog's deal with humans was simple. I help you survive, you feed me, and now we are a pack. Humans accepted the deal, and honestly, it was one of the best deals we ever made. Now let's talk about cats, because cats did not do a job interview. Cats performed a hostile takeover. Thousands of years passed. Humans were no longer just wandering around hunting and gathering. They started farming, growing grain, storing grain, building villages, and accidentally inventing one of the most important things in history, the pantry. This sounds boring, but it changed everything. Stored grain meant survival. It meant food for winter. It meant a village could grow. Unfortunately, it also meant mice. Lots of mice. To a mouse, a human grain storage building was not a storage building. It was paradise. Unlimited food, walls for hiding, no rent, no responsibilities. Tiny little criminals everywhere. Ancient farmers probably opened their grain storage and saw mice running around like, relax, bro. We own this place now. That was a serious problem. If mice ate the grain, humans lost food. If humans lost food, winter became a very bad season. So farming communities had a mouse problem, and somewhere nearby, a wildcat noticed. The wildcat was not looking for friendship. It did not care about human civilization, village life, or emotional bonding. It simply saw a building full of mice and thought, is anyone using this restaurant? That was the beginning of the cat-human relationship. Not a friendship at first. More like a business arrangement. Humans got pest control. Cats got unlimited hunting grounds. The farmers looked at this small, angry creature murdering the grain thieves and thought, useful. The cat looked at humans building mouse factories and thought, acceptable. Unlike wolves, cats did not need to become dramatically more obedient. They were already perfect for the job. Small body, silent movement, night vision, sharp claws, fast reflexes, and absolutely zero respect for authority. That last part was not useful, but it came included in the package. This is the big difference. Dogs changed deeply because they became part of the human team. Cats stayed much closer to their wild ancestors because the job did not require them to become people pleasers. A dog adapted to fit into the human world. A cat looked at the human world and decided, this will do. You can still see the difference today. A dog waits for your command. A cat waits for you to understand its command. When you come home, the dog thinks, my human is back. The cat thinks, my staff has returned. A dog brings you a ball because it wants to play. A cat brings you a dead animal because apparently your hunting skills are embarrassing. It is not a gift. It is a performance review, and you failed. Still, cats were extremely useful. In ancient farming communities, stored food was everything, and anything that reduced mice and rats protected human survival. So people tolerated cats. Then they started liking cats. In some cultures, they even elevated cats into symbols of protection, mystery, and power. At that point, the cat's plan was basically complete. Imagine being a cat in ancient Egypt. Yesterday, you were chasing mice. Today, someone is painting you on a wall and treating you like a sacred creature. That is not domestication. That is career growth. Meanwhile, dogs were still working. Guarding, hunting, pulling things, following orders, saving people, doing actual jobs. Cats were sitting near the grain storage like, yes, this worship seems reasonable. So the story of dogs and cats is really the story of two different survival strategies. Dogs joined the human pack. Cats moved into the human economy. Dogs became teammates. Cats became landlords. One animal said, we survive together. The other said, you may continue living in my house. And somehow, humans accepted both. That is what makes domestication so interesting. We like to imagine humans as the bosses, the clever species that looked at nature and said, I will control this. But in reality, domestication was often more like a negotiation. Humans changed animals, but animals also changed humans. Dogs helped us hunt better, guard better, travel better, and live with a loyal partner who could understand our emotions better than many people do. Cats helped protect stored food, reduced pests, and then somehow convinced humanity to spend thousands of years making art, myths, memes, and videos about an animal that knocks cups off tables for no reason. And now look at the modern world. Dogs are still trying to be useful. They guide people, rescue people, detect danger, protect homes, find missing humans, comfort the sick, help with work, and occasionally bark at a plastic bag like it is a demon from another dimension. Nobody is perfect. Cats are still doing what they have always done. They enter your space, judge the quality of your service, use your furniture, ignore your rules, demand food, refuse the food, demand different food, and then sleep in the box the food came in. Somehow we love them anyway, because deep down, cats and dogs represent two completely different relationships with humans. The dog reminds us of cooperation, loyalty, teamwork, and the ancient campfire, that feeling that something is watching the darkness with you. The cat reminds us of independence, mystery, control, and the fact that even after thousands of years of civilization, a tiny animal can still make a grown adult whisper, please don't knock that over. So did humans domesticate dogs and cats? Yes, but not in the same way. The dog became our partner. The cat became our roommate. Dogs changed to become closer to us. Cats decided we should become more useful to them. And judging by the internet, the cat was right. So next time your dog looks at you with love, remember, its ancestors may have chosen humans because together, you could survive the night. And next time your cat looks at you like you are late with rent, remember, its ancestors did not come to serve humans. They came for the mice, stayed for the real estate, and eventually got the couch.